Hello there, and welcome to my little arty corner of YouTube. It's nice to see you returning if you're a returning watcher, viewer, and it's lovely if you're brand new, and I hope you enjoy what you see. What I have going on here today is part 2 of my drawing Doodleworlds, though it's part 3 of a series based on this week's colouring template for the Angela Porter's Colouring Book fans group. I started by drawing... Oops, let me move that out of the way. I started by drawing the botanicals, which I haven't got here actually. They're on a different sheet, my apologies. All the botanicals and more natural patterns and tangly types of patterns are in the very first part of this series, so that's, yeah. And yesterday I started drawing some Doodleworlds critters with you, but I have to give them a scene to live in. They have to live somewhere. They're very, contrary otherwise. So it's basically because I don't like drawing hands and feet. So if I can avoid drawing the bottom of them, they can live behind things and it makes it all interesting. There's also another reason why I do this. It's because it allows other things to grow up through the drawing, if that makes sense. It's not just the Doodleworlds critters, but it inspires other things to appear there. Now, if anybody's watching closely, you might notice something about this drawing. This isn't the one I drew on video yesterday. Because yesterday I thought it might be a good idea afterwards to add colour to my drawing. And a confession to make, I made an awful mess. I dug out my Ecoline watercolour ink pens. I used them. I didn't buy the bottles of ink originally. I didn't know if I'd like them. I do love them. They're beautiful, but my skills with colour are dreadful. And you might have caught a glimpse of it. And this is what I actually did. If I'm going to add colour, I'm going to do it darn well digitally. I'm telling you now. Shadow is okay. Subtle colour is okay, but if you want filled in colour, properly coloured drawings, digital's the way for me. I struggle with traditional media so much. After this, last night, I was lying in bed, just beginning to doze off and thought, right, that's it, I'm getting rid of all my traditional media. I'm not yet. I may do. I'll find a good cause to donate it to locally. So there is a little bit of a difference, but nothing much. Because I got a second chance to draw things. So a couple of things that were added. I put some stripes on this tall figure. I put some sort of shadow lines on this one. What else did I do? Oh yeah, I put some lines in the middle of these leaves almost coming out the top of this volcano. Whether the volcano is alive or it's got a plant growing in it, I don't know yet. And these are a little bit different, but nothing much. I just put the curls closer together there and got a much more scowly face. Some of them are different sizes. I couldn't replicate it exactly. The bunny's ears are different, but that's fine. They'll be different every time you draw them. Oh, and I popped some shadowy lines on these blueberries, these little highlights in here, which are actually an accident because I was going to put circles inside the flowers to add some interest to them. And I started putting them there because I wasn't paying attention to where I was drawing things. So that's my confession. So, oh, and I think I've put patterns on these leaves, haven't I? Yeah, on the stuff at the front because it's quite boring just as it is. That's my opinion, may not be yours. And of course, it's fine for things to look differently when you draw them again. We're human. We're not copying and pasting a drawing we've already drawn, or sort of like scanned in and using it digitally. It's hand drawn, and there will be variations. And also, our style of drawing is different. It's taken me a long time to accept that when I draw, there is a kind of whimsicalness about it, in that I don't like perfectly straight lines in my drawings. I never use a ruler. The only time I use a ruler is to, sometimes it depends, where I will always use a ruler, or nearly always, to put the border around in the paper to outline the space I want to work within. And I do that in pencil, never in pen, because I sometimes like to allow things to spill over that border a little bit. And sometimes I'll use a ruler if I need the central part of a design or to get tiles, you know, the start of a tiled pattern leveled up, but that's about the only time. So it's, yeah, it varies, you know, with what I want to do and how I want to do things. So I did actually do just saying, oh, heads up, I did do another Doodleworlds drawing yesterday because I enjoyed doing this so much. I couldn't leave it alone. And once I've scanned it in and everything, that one I'm going to pop into my Etsy shop as a download. I've got to work out pricing and, you know, I've got to clean it up because there are some little errors in it and, you know, make sure everything's tickety-boo. That's my next job today. And I'll tell you more about that and leave a link to it in the next video, no doubt. And I'll show it as well because I need to colour it in, or partly colour it in. So with no further ado, I am going to, yeah, I've got my 03 pen. This 03 pen has had a bit of a battering. I was drawing on this Canson Imagine paper yesterday, and it really does wreck nibs. Mixed media paper has got quite a rough surface because it's meant for lots of different things, you know, different media, so it needs a tooth for things to grab onto. So it's not the best for drawing with fine liner pens on. It got a battering with the drawing I did yesterday, but it's fine. It's okay. I switched to marker paper this morning to start some drawing before I went back to sleep. So I'm quite late doing this. I'm wittering. It's 11:10. Okie doke. So I want to let's carry on with some of these critters. So let me have a look. Okie dokes. I'm going to add another one here that has a shape like this. Again, I'm going to thicken that line so it makes it look as if it's in shadow. Starts to add dimension. 2 big eyes. Now these look like this is looking towards the right hand side. Oh, this is, you know, this particular creature is sort of like twisted slightly to the right. I've got these a bit off center, so I'm going to make use of that with where I put the pupils in. But what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to we start again because I'm drawing, and when I draw, my ability to speak can disappear. Speaking and thinking and drawing seem to be almost mutually exclusive activities with me. So what I might do with this critter is leave its pupils out, you know, the black parts of the eyes, until I decide whether it's going to be looking at something up here, something above it, or trying to slyly look back this way. It depends what I'm going to draw in, so I'm going to do that because I can. And I think I might leave its expression blank as well, because I don't know whether it's going to be surprise, shock, horror, anger, happiness, tiredness, because it could have, you know, sleepy eyes. Perhaps these do look like a pair of goggles. And what I'm going to do here as well is I'm going to give him or her or them or it. This critter is going to have something that looks like either hair or slime on its head. In fact, I think I quite like the idea of adding slimy stuff all around it. So perhaps it's going to look quite disgusted by the time we're finished. So let's add some more down under here. This may not work, it may not be a good thing to do, but if it does work out, then I've got something else to add to my dictionary of things. It could be that this is actually hatching out of something, so let's add something there. Perhaps it's, you know, perhaps something like that's going on, because I don't actually know at the moment. But there we are, we'll have a look at that. Okie dokes. So another kind of one that's completely unique. Okie dokes. I'm just looking at these and looking at my other one to see, okay, which one now. So I will sneak another one in here, and we'll have one that's quite a tubular shaped one, or, you know, rounded corner rectangular. And with this one I'm going to put something that looks weirdly like teeth on the top, but it could be hair, it could be something else. And having a look, let's have some eyes. So like this, straight across the bottom, and I'm going to have this one looking this way. Make this side and have it looking as if it's a bit shocked at what it's seeing. There we go. And this one can be perhaps can have some wavy stripes on it, just as a bit of a difference. And that also adds interest when it comes to colouring in. This one I'm going to pop some rather jaggedy shapes on instead of rounded spots, because it goes with that angry look of the character, doesn't it? So not a very happy chap, that one, or chapess. Okay, this one, I think I'm going to give it straight lines for eyes, and perhaps just a little smile like that, almost like it's, I don't know, what expression would that be to you? I don't know, I can't, you know, or emotion. Okie doke, so we've got all of these, so I can continue to pile them up because I've put those in, that makes sense. Okie doke, so problem is I can't remember which ones I've done. Okay, let's go for one that looks a bit like an explosion. Remember? From the middle bottom up to the top this way, I put shadow on the left hand side, and then from the top going back round to the bottom, I put shadow on the right hand and bottom sides. And then I think with this we can have some definitely triangular eyes here, I think, and even triangular pupils in there. It's a rather spiky looking character. So let's have a look. I'm going to put a couple of spaced teeth in. I don't often draw spiky teeth like tusks or fangs. I much prefer to have, you know, sort of like squared or rounded teeth. And here with the mouth, I've left the line thin where the teeth are sticking out, but I've thickened it in between the teeth and just a little bit on the edges, just so it looks like the mouth is slightly open behind it. I'm going to grab my thinner pen because I'm going to take this opportunity here to add some shadow lines, which will be closest to the thicker lines that we've created there. Oh, the other thing I was going to do, I sort of noticed this one hasn't got any of these little lines on, so I'm doing a little line with a curve on and a dot at the end, because that is my way of doing it, and I can do that with these as well, so this looks a bit wet and slimy. Well, I think it does. Adds that sort of sliminess to it, perhaps, which of course can be brought out when colour's added. Okie dokes. Keep going back. I keep being able to see little spaces where I've left. I can see black isn't completely covering the area. Okay. Right. Here I'm just going to draw something inside, or something here that will look like, you see me trace the circle round, and to the bottom there I'm just going to put an inner circle in as well, which I'll also trace there. That helps in following the shape round. And there was also a tiny space here that I chose to colour with black, because that will help to bring this colour out here. So I'm going to get my O1, and then around the edge I'm going to put a pattern of lines. So 2 lines close together, but with a fairly large space between them, roughly square. There we go. So that adds a bit of interest. What could be inside it? Well, anything you like. But I'm going to pop a heart in today. Simply because, well, why not? Well, because I can. Because I can. There we go. Okay, so that's added something a bit extra here, and the only thing I need to do is to add some weight to lines. The fact this is a bit wibbly wobbly, like with all the Doodleworlds, isn't a huge issue, because it adds character and uniqueness. Sorry, I'm still having my morning tea today. And it's part of who you are. It's how you draw things. If I wanted perfect circles, I'd either get a compass out or a circle template, which I'm not going to tell you what they're also called, because it's a bit naughty. But I could use that if I wanted a perfect circle, but I don't. I'm quite happy with things being a bit wobbly and wonky. It gives the human nature here, that human feel. Okay, and I think I'm going to add something here as well, because I've got a really awkward shape here, and all of these spikes, and I'm going to add another one behind there, just to fill that space, because that space just looks really awkward, and I could as well pop one in there. Again, it will, these little details like these lines help to differentiate between one creature and another, or one part and another. What really helps is filling in these little spaces either with black or with very simple pattern. I've chosen black here because it fits in with elsewhere, and I haven't got a big expanse of spaces between these characters. I seem to have filled them in, cut them in closely enough. So it's quite nice then to have these little bits of black won't stand out too noticeably. Okay, so I want something to go here, and I think what I might do is I think I will start here, and I'm going to add an arch in perhaps, and I'm going to add perhaps some small bunting flags. But I could see I didn't have much space there, and so I wanted to make sure that I had a shape that would be that would fit in a smaller space. but also that would stand out from these spikes. So what I've done is create them from semicircles, but what I can do then is to add patterns to them so we can tell them apart, or so they end up looking perhaps, or suggesting that they are bunting, which is fun. Okay, so we've got that, so that's fun. Right, I've got this space over here, and I think here I'm going to tuck in perhaps a couple of flowers. So I think I can tuck in a couple that are like this. Let's see. I've got this space underneath now though. I'm going to have one that's not entirely on this page. That'll do. So I'm just remembering from the centre, we work from the centre clockwise to the bottom, thicken the lines on the right side and the bottom of each shape, and it works. And this one I'm going to thicken the top curve of the inside circle and the bottom curve of the outside circle. So it creates a ring that seems like it's standing up a little bit. Now I haven't auraed these like I did these down here. I'm just keeping them plain and simple. And this space here is big enough that it can be left as it is. I do have a thing about having motifs and the like in odd numbers, so I'm going to add a third one in here. This ring is recognisable as being part of a flower, and as soon as I pop some petals in, this will make sense, and when it comes to colouring in, I can see that what I need, that this would also be part of this flower. And that makes a bit more sense there, like that. So that works nicely. Okie dokes. A bit there. Always touching things up. That's me. Okay, I'm just having a quick look. Right. I'm going to add a critter up here, and I'm going to start with its eye. I want one ginormous eye. I'm going to start drawing in the stalk that its eye is on, so I can get that centrally placed and going in the direction. For this one, I'm giving it a straight neck or straight stalk and quite a rounded body. Again, making sure that I add weight to the lines where I want them to stand out or go behind them. I think I'll have my eyeball a little bit set in. On this one, I'm going to pop a really long, thin tongue in. Again, I'm creating that shape of the mouth behind the tongue, but keeping a thinner line above so it looks like the lips are slightly open. This is a pain because I'm going to have to colour all of this in. I've got my 05 pen here, which will be slightly quicker. It's always useful to have a range of pen sizes. You can work with just one, but sometimes it's a lot easier to use 2 pen sizes for different jobs. Okay, and I'm going to pop a little heart on this one. And in the same idea, I'm going to draw 2 eyes, and I'm going to give them the outside edge, but here I'm going to give it a curvy stalk. This I think I'd have preferred to have drawn in pencil, to be honest with you, first, so that I could get a better shape here going on. But it is what it is now, and it will work. That's the perfectionist in me. Sometimes I think I should sketch things out, but working with pencil first is such a pain. I know people usually work in pencil first, sketch their designs out, then ink them in, then erase all the pencil. I always end up getting in such a mess. This one I'm going to give it different shaped pupils in there. So more like oval shapes or rounded rectangles. And this mouth, I think it can have a little mouth with perhaps a smile. And I'll pop a little heart on that one as well for interest. And of course, if we really want to go to town, you can have a whole pile of eyes of different sizes. Let's have a big one up there. A triangular shaped body. And then what I'm going to do here is just aura around them, because that is something that is a little bit different, perhaps a little bit fun, and we're drawing monsters and everything is meant to be cute and whimsical, kawaii if you like, and it's imaginary. So these worlds can have all kinds of things living on them. Okay, I am going to go and do my line thickening. These eyes, if I do anything else. With this one, I'm choosing to pop the line weight to the left of the circle and the bottom. And then all that matters now is that we can pop some expressions in, perhaps. Different kinds of eyes. So I've got one that seems to be smiling, one that seems to be sleeping, and so on. It's a bit ridiculous, and it doesn't exactly work, but I've gone with it now. I could change it. If I scan this in, digitally to, which I will do, to add colour, then I can edit those if I'm not happy with them. But it's just an idea. And here I'm going to have a big unhappy mouth, I think, because this monster isn't happy with its eyes either, and that's fine because I haven't done a good job with them. Of course, what I could do is just completely fill these in, give them a little while to, I say completely fill them in, give them a little while to dry, and then I can add the white dot with a jelly roll pen, a white gel pen. I particularly like Sakura souffles because they dry incredibly opaque and don't pick up the colour of the ink as long as you don't scrub them around too much, which you can't do. So they're quite fun. Okay. Any others? Yeah, just one more, I think. And I'm going to do one that has a face like this. I was going to leave its eyes empty, but it didn't feel right. So I've just popped 2 small black pupils in there. So let me make that a little thicker. These as well. And I think for this one I'm going to give him some kind of antenna, because he does look a bit robotic, I think. Possibly just a bit. There we are. Just a bit. There are a couple of others that I haven't tackled. Body shapes. So this one I'm going to create it here, and it's going to be very much a teardrop shape. And because I've drawn it behind the bunny's ears, here, fill that little bit in with black. But this space here, instead of filling it in with black, oops, wrong pen, if I get the 01, I can fill this in with sort of like cross-hatched lines, which gives a lighter feel to it. It doesn't feel quite as clunky. I messed up here a little bit on this line. It's okay. Okay, so I'm going to pop in a light reflection, as if it is a drop of water, and then I can add some eyes in. The eyes, I'm going to add eyes in, but I'm going to have them parallel to the sides. So pop those there, and I'm going to have a lovely smile on this one. But a cheeky one. Perhaps a couple of drops of spittle coming off the tongue. That's something I didn't do with the tongue over here. I didn't thicken the lines, so we knew that we had a tongue sticking out, a dimensional tongue, and just a little bit of thickness on either side of that tongue there. So that's quite fun. This bunny ear here, this desperately needs something. So I'm going to pop a heart in that one. I've put something in the other one, but it's behind this bunny's ears, or I'm making it behind there. Could, in theory, have a little bit of it coming around here, but I don't think it would. I think it would hide behind quite nicely. So there we are. So we've got a teardrop shape. I'm going to make use of a shape here that we've already used. I think I'll use this square one again, with the squares on its head, and this time I'm going to create the squares at different heights, again remembering to pop shadow or the line, thicken the line, and it looks the same. If I put exactly the same expression in, then this would look like the same kind of character, but we can change the expression, and I think I'm going to have a sleepy time one, because we haven't got one that's asleep here, and perhaps it's snoring. And this one can be a polka dot kind of character. And here I've got an opportunity to pop a polka dot in there, or I could fill it, I've done that now, as if this is an incredibly tall creature. So that suggests that this pattern carries on there. Otherwise I could have filled this space in here with these lines like that. Again, if I'm not happy with what I've done, I can always edit it at another time. Okay, and yeah, I think so. Excuse me. Alrighty. And it's not just creatures that have faces, it's objects as well. So I could pop, I'm going to pop a star in here, and this one will stick behind a couple of characters here. The fact that its legs are lopsided isn't something that concerns me particularly, because although they're very apparent at the moment in the grand scheme of things, won't be. I'm going to give this star some wings. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to spiral up this side. I'm going to put a spiral on this side as well. Fill those spaces in with black. Round that there. And then three fingers that get a little bit smaller each time. And the last one connects back to the top of the star there. And again, the thicknessing goes to the left and to the bottom on these. So we've got bottom on this side, and the same here with that spiral. I'm going to thicken the bottom of it, and in this one I can add some to the side. That's the left hand side there. Face, oh yeah. Like this. And then I think I'll add a great big grin. Not every star has a set of wings, so this one's very happy to have wings. It's a flying star. There we go. You could angle these wings up in different ways by adjusting how that line comes off, depending on what you feel. So even objects can have faces, and that is the principle, I suppose, of doodles and kawaii, is that things, objects, have faces. I'm trying to think of one to pop in. My brain is dead. How about we pop in a bottle? Because I love bottles. I think it's from my time as a chemistry teacher. Actually, I liked bottles long before then. There's something about the way that they catch the light and reflect the light. So this looks more like a wine bottle than a chemistry bottle, but it's fine. It can be a perfume bottle if you want it to be. The clue is always in the stoppers. I use these a lot because you can add something to the stopper that tells you what's in it. And I'm going to add a mushroom to mine, because it's never, as far as I'm concerned, it could be Halloween all year round. It's this, I say Halloween, it's the spooky kind of things that I like about Halloween. Not the scary spooky, but things like potions and charms and magic and things like that. So we've got this, and I'm just going to pop some shadows there, and perhaps just a couple there. Right, drawing water in a bottle, or something that is within a bottle. Use a finer pen, and you start by drawing almost an oval, a pointy oval shape in here. But you don't touch the sides, you leave some space there because there's glass. And glass has a thickness. And then we can put the liquid like that. I'm going to draw some little sparkles in here because because I think this would be sparkly. And even down here I can pop a little bit of sparkle in, a little bit here perhaps. You can tuck parts of the sparkle in, and even in above the level of the liquid, perhaps a couple. Perhaps just a tiny one going up there, and another little one perhaps here. And then we can put a face on this. I could put it in the liquid actually, because I've left some space there, so and because I'm drawing with a finer pen, I'm drawing a finer face in there. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a highlight there as well. So there we are, a bottle. So you can make anything cute and kawaii. I've just noticed that the light's been changing. I've been completely oblivious that every now and again the light, the sunshine comes out. It's grey and cloudy again with occasional sunny spells, it seems. So I hope that helps. It's I'll come back to these perhaps another time. I don't know if I will tomorrow. I will show you this when we've completed it, and I've added colour to it, because I think that's a nice thing to do. And I am going to scan it in and print it out, and perhaps try something other than watercolour media, perhaps some coloured pencils, or maybe alcohol markers, and see if I can get better results with colouring them in. I'm just really rubbish with traditional media. I perhaps just have to accept this. But to have an idea how to colour or add colour is useful, even if it's from somebody like me who's not all that good. So take care of yourselves. Thank you for watching. And please consider subscribing and giving a thumbs up for the video. It's been a bit of a waffly one, and I do apologise. And a coffee one. As in, I had a bit of a cough. I do apologise. But look after yourselves and find time to be creative. Take care for now. Bye. Oil.